Hey, 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 everybody. Guess who it is? We are back again. This is DJ Maya. We are back with the Mad Chatter Show. You are listening to WVEW.org, 107.7 FM, community radio. And I got my DJ in the house, DJ Pooh Bear. Say what's up.
Hey, what's up?
And you have us a wonderful guest again. Would you like to introduce our guest tonight?
Oh, it's an honor to introduce this guest. He is the host of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. He's had over 1,000 episodes to date. And he's actually the man basically responsible for my metaphysical awakening and my introduction to you and hypnosis and regression, Robert Kalil.
Yes, welcome, brother. Welcome. Woohoo.
Wow, that means a lot. You guys are like such good friends. Like I really appreciate you guys' friendship. And like I never really think that I've had like that kind of like effect on anybody, because I guess like sometimes we get depressed and like sometimes I don't give myself enough credit, but like that's awesome, and it's great that like you guys have a show now, and you're exploring all these topics and stuff, and we started the Cosmic Crusaders crew that, and like we're doing that, and it's like we're all doing amazing stuff, and I love it. It's really cool. I'm glad to be a part of it. It's really interesting stuff, like exploring like these like consciousness, and like every time we go under, it's like a new adventure.
It literally feels like this universe being created off of the show you seeded, though. Like it really, I wouldn't have known Maya. Like all of these things interconnect because Spinja listened to you on a different podcast. She actually heard you as a guest for the first time, not your actual show. And she was just so enthralled with you and vibed with you. She's like, I have to hear more of this man. And if it wasn't for her following you from that first interview she heard you on, she wouldn't have seen the show with Arkim Ra to know when I was having my nightmares about the SSP. Like you, this entire creation that's coming about revolves around you.
It's amazing. Like I don't know what to say. Like it's an honor, really. It really is. Like it's so we're all going to do big things in the future. We're I think we're meant for it. That's like what this whole thing's about. We're in a mass awakening where everybody's like waking up to their abilities, and it's a new, hopefully it's going to be a new earth. Like we're treading new waters. We're coming into new times where the world's literally changing, and we're being a part of like the change. I'd like to say, like, that's maybe the best way to put it. I think like, like with the stuff that Maya's doing with hypnosis, and I'm dealing with my show, and you're doing, Dawn, and like we're really trying to change the world, because we see people around us changing, like, and you know what I mean? Like you're experiencing it yourself, Don. Like you just started coming into your abilities, so you see it. So that's what's making you want to react and do the things you're doing. You know what I mean? And that's happening with a lot of people. It's like from the more people I talk to, the more people I notice that are like waking up and their reality's changing, and they're and they want to know what's going on. Sometimes people are like, I get a lot of questions during the day. Sometimes people are like, they don't understand exactly what's going on, but once people get a better understanding of it, they want to like be a part of the change of the world, because they see. I guess like some normies aren't changing, but I mean, I think that'll come around in time. I think I think we're headed for like a new evolution. I'm hoping so, at least.
Yeah. You recently had a guest on, and she went through a very similar experience as I did. Like her awakening was within a month of mine. She was on with Penny Dollar, but I can't recall her name. She had actually just finished writing a book, but it was almost exactly parallel, like where she was having these military action dreams, and hers started in like August and mine started in September, but they were almost completely parallel. I can't remember the lady's name.
It's Nicole Aubrey. She just wrote a book called Aubrey Ascending. Her book just came out. Like she sent me a PDF of it. send you, like, since you relate to her case so much, I can, maybe I can give you a PDF of the book. Like, but her book literally just came out on Amazon, and she's I'm gonna interview her again in March, like, because but after I read her book and everything, but I thought her stories were amazing too. She reminds me of Olivia James, because Olivia James's experiences are very real as well. I'm not saying anybody's experiences aren't real, but like those two seem like very, like they seem like they're very, I don't know, like the way like it's undeniable what they're experiencing. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, we're actually having somebody that I saw on your show, Penny Bradley, in a couple of weeks as well. And like some of her experiences are just mind blowing. Like with her awakening from the SSP and like the hybrid program and stuff. I don't know if she covered it on the episode with you, but it's just surreal, her SSP memories.
Yeah, she's coming on again in March too. Like she's you want to talk to her about V2K. She's and that ties into like when you guys talk to Tommy Edwards too, because that's like what's happening with like the targeted individuals. People are being hit with like V2K, voice to skull technology, and Penny Bradley will tell you how to like fight that shit and like get rid of it. Like she tells you how to figure out like whether you're being hit with V2K or not. And she says you can, I know this sounds funny, but she says you can put like a spaghetti pot over your head, and that'll tell you. And if the voices stop in your head, then that means that it's V2K. But if the voices don't stop, then that means it could either be entities or like some kind of mental thing. But yeah, she says that'll, because it's like it comes through a frequency, it seems like,
Yeah.
Is that
We
like
did-
having a tinfoil hat on?
Yeah.
Pretty high.
What?
Yeah. But yeah, Tommy, we didn't air it because it's over the radio, sent me a frequency that he recorded and diffused. And when I played it on my phone, it actually shut my phone off for 2 minutes.
Wow.
Right. I'll send it to you personally, but play it at your own risk. I know it reset my phone and like everything on my phone just went. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my phone as it is. Don't send it.
Maybe it'll give your phone an upgrade.
Yeah, I have a cheap phone, so I don't know. I paid like I'm one of those people with like I can't buy like a real expensive phone. My phone cost me like $300 and I own it outright. And I'm like, I don't want to buy another one. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, but
First of all, that's the most I want to pay for a phone. Anything else after that is criminal to me. Okay,
Right.
It's criminal.
yeah.
Well,
Give me back the pay phone.
like, our son even said, he's like, I think it's wild that you guys like go out of your way to have the most off-brand, cheapest phones. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to support that crap. I don't even want one, period, but it's kind of a necessity of life at this point, and it sucks.
But with the phone, it's like having a computer. Like, like if a computer always goes, you always have your phone to do podcasting with. I mean, you can use it to your advantage too. You know what I mean? Especially like with what you're doing. Like that's what I want to say to like Maya's audience is that like Dawn has been able to do amazing stuff with like a phone as far as like video production. You did all those video ads for me, Dawn, which I'm really appreciative of. Like, I don't know how you did that stuff. Like I can't, I'm not like tech savvy. You know what I mean? So, and Maya,
you're really good. I was impressed.
I was going to say, and Maya's doing like amazing stuff with thumbnails too. Like, I don't know how you guys do that. Like, like I got to learn this stuff, it's,
you just gotta play with it.
Yeah. For me, it goes back to high school, and it's something like I had a kid at a very young age. I was into culinary arts and media production, and both of those kind of fell by the wayside because I had my kid in high school. So I had to drop out and go get a real person job, right? Because now I got a mouth to feed. So like they were both things that kind of just went to the wayside, but like I can make a hamburger that'll literally knock your socks off. And apparently I still know just about everything I need to know about video production. And it was just something that came back to me since my awakening.
That's amazing, man. I mean, you have a real talent. That's why I like to advertise it for you, because I think you could be doing that for like content creators everywhere. Like that's like a skill you definitely have. Like, not a lot of people can do that stuff. Like, I mean, I know I don't know the first thing about it, so it's like it's amazing to me.
Yes. Well,
Wow,
thank
you
you.
have your food, your burger truck.
Yeah, that'll come too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
uh-huh.
recently tried to get into the cooking industry again, and like just the gross factory aspect of it turned me off. And I think that'll be the only time I ever cook professionally again, will be if I own my own food truck,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I just can't, like, it literally looks like a robot cooking now. It's just gross.
That's like my job. I don't know if you guys know this. Like before I got into all this stuff, and then well, what happened was I was a mortgage broker for 10 years. That was my career. I used to make like really good money, but like it was like there's like a spiritual and esoteric side to this too, because what happened was they try to force you to sell people. They force you to sell, and then you feel bad about your soul. Like I never gave anybody a bad deal though. Honestly, I never did. Like I always felt like trying to give someone like the best interest rate possible or get them into the best house. And I tried to do it with like integrity, but then I was working for Wells Fargo Financial, and then we I don't know if you guys remember, there was a big recession in 2009, and that hit, and a bunch of us lost our jobs. And then after that, I had some really bad stuff happen to me. I don't know if you want me to talk about it. I don't know if I talked about it
Yeah,
before, but
we've heard it on your show. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
yeah, and that made me go to like real bad jobs, like, and then I was like working at like gas stations, and I was fucking up, like, I wasn't good at it. And then I worked at Walmart, and I was working in the produce department at Walmart. That's when I was with Nikki. And then I finally just said, well, I'm just going to stop all this noise, and I'm going to try to do podcasting full time, because it seemed like things were picking up. And then I did. I like it. I mean, like, I don't know what else to do at this point. I mean, I'm trying, like, but it's definitely ups and downs, you know what I mean? And it comes with a lot of like, I get triggered a lot and stuff like that. But I mean, like, I still would rather be doing this than a regular job, because
Right.
for me, I don't even have an option. Like right now, I don't even have a car. So like, for me to get a regular job is like, it would be really hard for me to find a regular job, like, like, so,
You'd have to work for like a nonprofit or something like that.
yeah,
You
or
know what, Rob? The funny thing is, when I started my second trip of awakening, I was a loan officer too, and I got fired from my job because they were mad at me. Because once I learned, I was one of those persons. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know how to price my own loans. I wanted to know how to give the best deals. I wanted to know how to play with the interest rates and the point system, because people don't know about that, and they don't have to get that rate. They can buy down points and buy down the rate. And so once I learned how to do it, and I was learning how to price my loans, my boss was looking at me like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm learning my job. And they kind of didn't like that. And it was in 2007.
so
And
we were loan officers at the same time. It's so
yes,
cool, because I was a loan officer literally till 2009, 2010. So
yep.
from 2001, because I started off as a telemarketer, like right when, like when it was like 2001, when you were still allowed to telemarket people. I don't know if you guys remember that. And I
Yeah,
worked in
we
like,
did. They call it, what do they call it? Um, what's the word for it? I forget the lingo. Remember what
uh
they call it? Is
cold calling.
Yeah,
that what it is?
yeah.
You're basically cold calling customers. Yeah, but what we had was, we had like lists of people, and we were trying to get them to refinance their home. And then it was like a competition, because I was in like a telemarketing room. This is back in 2001. And we were, just try to get as many leads as we possibly get to convert. And then they turned me into a loan officer, and then I learned that. And then it was just exactly like you said. But when we were doing it, you would get paid from, the you could charge the
Commission.
customer up front, then you got points from the bank too. So you got,
Yes.
like, it was like, it was really
So
interesting.
let me explain what I would tell people. I would say, so so at the end, when you finish a person's loan, there's an option before they finish signing. There's a point system. They can take those points to buy down their rate. If they don't use those points, it becomes like a bonus. So that's where also the loan officer makes some of their commission from. So what I used to do is I used to get in trouble because in 3 minutes, I would have people give me their social security number. I could have someone's number in 3 minutes. And I got awards for being the top seller in the district, in the region. I had $11 million, $22 million on my desk, 11 files of clients. They were stacked. That week, my son had surgery. His appendix was about to burst. I was out for a week. I come back. They stole 3 of my files and funded them already before I got back, stole my money, basically. And when I got back, they were mad that I was able to get so many customers that they just like they did when I was in sewing and I loved my job and I was good at it, they got me out of there. They fired me for no reason. They couldn't find any reason to really fire me. But they were like, but then after I left, they went down. So I was like, heh. But yeah, we went through the same thing. But that's when I had my awakening. So
Yeah,
I feel like you're in a waiting period. I feel like we go through a waiting period sometimes, you know, and before you go right back to action, you know, this is your resting period. You're trying to figure out the next step.
Yeah. Well, one time I did sales in 2017 too. Cause like I worked for, this is a funny story. I worked for, and I've told this on the podcast before, but your audience hasn't heard it yet. So I was learning all about like, cause I had my awakening in like 2015, 2016. And I was like messing around with like witchcraft. Cause I was always like interested in witchcraft. Cause I would hear like this witch come on Art Bell back in the day. And she would talk about like candle magic and manifestation, and I was just so enthralled in it. So I learned about sigils, and I was working, I was selling phones, and we had to like upsell people to like cable contracts as well. So like if you sold phones, you did well, but if you got the cable contract, it would be more money. So they hired me because I had skills in the loan officer business. So I got sick of it one day and I was like, I'm going to do a spell or a sigil that's going to get me like the most sales. So I really concentrated that night and I drew like this insane sigil and I put all my effort into being the best salesman possible. Well, I went to work the next day. I sold like 12 phones and I sold like 3 cable contracts. Then the day after that, I got fired. They said that one person didn't pay. So like I don't know if the spell backfired or if I was just like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting though. Like, so I never messed around with magic again after that. Like, I mean, I believe totally in manifestation. Like, I believe we can manifest our reality, but I don't want to mess around with too much magic because I'm afraid that like backfire on me. But then we're not supposed to be all caught up in the material anyway, right? Like, we're supposed to like, so I think that maybe that's what magic was trying to tell me, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Well, no, the archangels tell me, yes, we can do magic. It's your intention. That is what matters.
Okay. That makes sense. So like, yeah.
To sort of paraphrase the guest you had on from the one radio station there, he was saying like, you can only get things certain ways into this reality. Like if you say you need $1,200, you might get into a car accident and get a check for $1,200.
Yeah. Right.
So
you have to be specific.
It has to be specific and it has to be for the right reason, or you're probably going to get it in a way you don't want it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the trick about manifesting. It's weird, right? Like it's like it comes weird ways. It seems like it's not always like, it's not always the way we want it.
I'm trying to tell you, I am a master manifester. There is a way to get what you want. They said, the archangel said, number one, you have to be completely, wake up every morning with gratitude for what you have already. Be grateful for everything that you have. Number one, grateful. Two, right? You protect yourself. You have to protect yourself, protect your home, because you want to make sure that you stay pure. You don't want nothing messing with your vibe. So you wake up, you shield yourself. I'm grateful and thank you for waking me up this morning. Boom, activate, shielded, protected. I am shielded, protected. You know what I mean? Say it 3 times if you have to. That's a powerful way to do it as well. And then you have to paint the picture. I wish I could find my I used to make these vision boards of things that I wanted, and I would focus on what I wanted, and then I would get them. But let me just say this. You have to write. I used to write a list. Start with a list. 1 through 10. Focus on one thing. Job. What do you want? What is your dream job? Think big. Don't be like, oh, I don't have a car. I can't get there. Let me tell you, there was many years I didn't have a car. That didn't stop me from getting a job. I would get a job I would get a ride for the interview and get a ride for the first day of work. After that, I was like, don't worry about me. I'll make sure. I would find people at work. Anybody want a carpool? I'll pay you for gas. Oh yeah. People love to freaking carpool. Oh yeah. I'll carpool with you. I got you. And you find somebody that will and you can work wherever you want. Don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have
that's really well said.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's how I do everything. I manifest everything in my life.
I want to manifest this trip to go up to the Bridgewater Triangle. I really want to, and I would come up to see you too as well, Maya. But like that, because Marianne lives up there, and it's just like an amazing place. It seems like I want to take this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to take the podcast on the next the next would be, so like the GoFundMe I made it's to start doing a live podcast vlog. So it'll be like a video podcast where I go start investigating places. You know what I mean?
What's the name of your GoFundMe?
I don't know. It's like the Bridgewater Triangle.
All right.
I'm looking it up now, but I'll look it up. I'm trying to sign in right now. Tell you, it's so it's let me see what it says. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, so it's not showing me. It's not showing me my
okay, so you want to go live there or something, or what?
Yeah, I want to do like live investigations from there. This will be the next leg of my podcast. It'll be doing like live investigations, and this is a good place to start because it has like satanic activity, puckwudgies, UFOs. It has paranormal humanoids, supposedly like Bigfoot, ghosts, poltergeist, shadow people, Thunderbird sightings. Like I said, cult activity, Native American curses, puckwudgies, which are like little miniature. I don't know what they are. What you would consider them? They're like a little trickster person. So it's been like, there's been like strange orbs all over. So it's like it would be the first great place to start investigating. So I have multiple reasons for wanting to get up there. So that's why I started the GoFundMe, and I was like, I think it'll work out pretty well. Yeah.
Nice.
We can definitely attach the GoFundMe to this in the description, like when it goes on YouTube and our channels too. So
yeah,
we can do that.
Absolutely.
Because I think you should definitely take the show on the road.
I mean, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take it out on the road, like, and go to all kinds of places, like go to like the Coral Castle down in like Florida, go to just like all kinds of different like investigating places. Like it seems like a lot of people are doing paranormal stuff, so I'd kind of like to try to think of like outside of the box, and that, I'd love to go to Louisiana. That would be so much fun because like New Orleans is like the paranormal capital of the world. You know what I mean? Like I love New Orleans. Like I really do, and I want to go there I interviewed this couple from there. They wrote a book called Abducted in the French Quarter. The lady died, or I can't remember, but her husband's still alive. And they lived in the French Quarter, and they lived like on top of a on top of a on top of a voodoo place. Like, so they were, yeah, and like they were out in the French Quarter one day, and they got abducted, like literally in the French Quarter. But she told me in the French Quarter, it's like amazing for like magic and the paranormal and voodoo and all that stuff. So, it's I'd love to go there too. I'd love to have I remember I was gonna say, Maya, when we were talking about doing like a show, or a meeting or something. I would have loved to have done a meetup down there, and yeah, I would. That's what I'd love to do. I'd love to do like a conference in the middle of Louisiana. That'd be amazing. I don't know if we could ever do that. It's something. It's an option though. It's a I don't know.
Right.
Hey, Rob, if you ever wanted to do just kind of a cheesy one, you could come to where we live and shoot a podcast from basically a dozen scenes from the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was shot where like I could literally take you to spots that were in the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Wow.
They shot a scene right by our house.
Yeah, the Ecto one drives like right by our house.
Wow.
So if you ever,
cool.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, like literally when they're going up the dirt road, that's where is the corner.
So Rob, reflecting on the year already. It's only February, but let's see. How do you feel like January went? You feel like you did big things?
Yeah, I think it's good, but I think March is going to be a lot better. Like, I'm planning for a huge March, like as far as like guests go. Like, I really went out of my way to get like the best guests for March. Like, you're going to be really surprised when you see. I mean, a lot of them are like repeat guests. Like, like I told you, Penny Bradley's going to be on, and Nicole Aubrey. But I got like other big people that are like, like, I don't want to say the names because then like it'll get jinxed. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, like, and because the Matrix always finds a way to fuck everything up for me,
Right.
no matter what I do. So like, I don't even say anything good about my life anymore, because it's anything I say good about my life. If I say something good, it'll get messed up the next day. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a negative component to our reality that does that, or what it is. I'm still trying to figure out what this reality is. But with that said, January was good. It was okay, but I think March is going to be a lot better. And even February, like as we go on to February, I have some really good readers coming on. I have this one girl that Lori recommended to me. You might know her, Maya. Her name is Activations by Zoe. Do you know her?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I don't know. She's like a new lady. She's gonna be coming on, so that should be an interesting one. I like doing the psychic shows a lot. Like, I really enjoy that, because like I think the audience likes it too, because then they get a reading and stuff like that. And I'm a real believer in psi, and I think like psi and like consciousness and hypnosis, it's all like related, because it's all like the mind, it's all consciousness, it's all like exploring like what we don't know, so it's I love that stuff, honestly. I do.
You actually had a pretty good, big thing yesterday. You were just on Spaced Out Radio like last night. I know this will air in a couple of weeks, but still,
right.
That was huge, right?
Oh yeah, it was big, and I was really nervous. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't know what to think. Like, I didn't think it was going to come out very good, but I just talk about whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I can kind of go wherever. I guess I've learned that from doing so many shows. I can kind of navigate whatever you want me to talk about. I can kind of cover. It's just sometimes I get brain farts,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, yeah, but like, I mean, I guess it's from doing so many shows. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Right.
fun. We did an interview with Fearless Frankie, and he talks about the brain fart, and he's like, "That's actually when you're onto something, and then you pop in and out, and you're like, what? Where'd that go?" It's because that's when they actually take you onto the ships, and it's no time here, but you could be there for a month.
Yeah, speaking of Fearless Frankie, like I don't know if you heard this, Maya, but I asked Chris from Forbidden Knowledge News when I had him on my show. I said, because he does so many experiments with mushrooms, I said, how would you feel about doing a hypnosis session on mushrooms? And then he said he kind of does it with his fiance or whatever. Like, so he kind of has his own like ceremony of how he likes to do the shrooms, but you and I have talked about this before. I'd like to do shrooms and then do a QHHT session. I'd like to go under hypnosis on shrooms or even DMT and see what happens. I think because I've had some pretty profound experiences without hypnosis, but like I can imagine if I was under the influence and I was like, we did hypnosis, that would be amazing. I think that'd be
I had another aura practitioner actually take mushrooms before she did her session with me.
wow. What did she see? Anything? Or I mean, was it like more? Was it better or worse? Or
I took her to a past life where she is Nefertiti.
wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why a lot of us go back to Egypt. Like I think we talked about this before. I wonder if there's like something with Egypt, like we all have past lives there or something. It seems
Well,
like it.
the fall happened during Atlantis, right? And so they left Atlantis and went all over the world. And so we are like the remnants. And so you have the section of people who played major parts, major roles, and they're trying to come back to make it right. And so now, we're just the way the system has got us. They got us as everyday people, like a bunch of slaves, but within these people are actually X-Men. Like we are super powerful. They've taken our power away from us.
I agree. I agree
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It's about finding that power, getting it back, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Well,
I forgot what was the other part of that question? I forgot.
I'm just gonna hop in for a second. I was actually just explaining that to Spinja yesterday. It's like nobody has the time to think about things because you can't slow down, right? But when you stop, like I did, I guess I blame my awakening, but I quit like a well-paying job and just went, well, I'm doing nothing because my brain's broken. And it was that when I started to be able to like figure out like things like the calendar don't make sense. And when the new year used to be April 1st, and that's why they call people April Fools, because the church changed it to celebrate a Roman holiday. And you're like, well, you don't ever think about that. You just accept everything. You're just like, yeah, this is what my parents taught me. That's right. This is Christmas. That's New Year's. Well, no, New Year's is now about a Roman holiday, not the new year. The new year got changed by the church because they wanted it to be something else. But if I hadn't have just like snapped out and quit my job, I'd have never even thought to challenge anything.
Yeah, I know. It's like reaching that breaking point. It's like reaching that tipping point where like you're saying, like, I'm not gonna accept like the normal bullshit anymore. And I'm gonna get my own ideas from like what I'm seeing, what my reality is. And once you open yourself up to your awakening, you can't kind of go back. It's like, you can't really go back to a normal life again. It's I think you'll always think this way because you start to see that like most conspiracies are actually reality. The things people call, and the whole reason why there's the term conspiracy theories. They made that up for the JFK thing. When people started to question the JFK assassination back in the day, they started calling them conspiracy theorists. Well, guess what? They were right. There was something up with that. So like, it's like, it's just a way that they use to like bring us down, so that we don't think about, what the real reality is, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you were talking about Chris earlier. He touches on the JFK conspiracy and how much of it was planned down in New Orleans. In his occult New Orleans, he did that documentary, and he talks about like how it was basically planned out between the CIA and the mob down in New Orleans, where like dirty and shady shit could go down and nobody noticed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was definitely something up with that. Like there was I don't know if it was the mob, but then they say JFK was going to come out with the UFO reality too. They say he was going to tell about, like what happened with the UFOs. Cause I sometimes wonder that if he was like, if it was the mob or if it was the CIA or if it was maybe a combination of both. And then they set up Lee Harvey Oswald as a patsy. Lee Harvey Oswald was also trained by Russia. So, or it was either trained by Russia or the intelligence agencies. I can't remember which one, kind of like how we trained Osama bin Laden, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we kind of turned on him after,
we created ISIS too.
I know, right? Yeah. And what's so interesting about that is those ISIS groups are going around the Middle East and they're destroying ancient sites, like the city of Eridu, which is like the first city on Earth. Like, well, supposedly from what we know, I'm talking about like, from Sumerian records that say like, like if we believe mainstream history that say Sumeria was the first city, or at least that's what we have evidence for, right? From the cuneiform tablets, whatever. But they're destroying these places and I don't understand why. Maybe it's because they don't want us to know about what we could find, but then that lady Mary Joyce was saying last night that there's like stuff underneath California, like under the coast of California, and you see a lot of USOs go under there, or they're basically UFOs that go in the water, but they go from the air to the water like seamlessly, and they're always off the coast of California. I'm thinking there's like an alien base under there. We should investigate that with hypnosis.
Yeah, well, didn't you see one in Maui?
I can't remember. I did. Yeah, we did see an alien base. Yeah, I think there is one under there. Yeah. Now that I remember, it's hard for me to remember the sessions. But now that you said it, it triggered my memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were the one that seen it. You were like, I think there's a base under there, and I was like, is it human base, military base? And you were like, I don't know. You weren't too sure. It was like, could it be alien? I think you might have said alien at one point. I don't remember.
Well, I think what's going on is like all around the country, we have these deep underground military bases, which we hear about all the time. But then I think there's alien stuff going on down there too. So it could be like the government's working with aliens and inner Earth. But then I wonder also if there's like a inner Earth civilization, like deeper in the Earth, like stuff that like, that they don't even know about, like Agartha, like where it's like a magical place, like that like very few, if any, people have ever went to. There's that woman, I know you guys are going to laugh at this. Her name's Reptilian Hybrid Housewife on YouTube. And but her channel's awesome. It really is. It's awesome. She shows pictures of like these cities. They look like underground cities, and they look very real to me. They almost look crystalline. And supposedly she says that's where the reptilians come from. She said they live underground. And then she has videos of people going into these tunnels as well, where they're asking them where they're going, and they're taking like supplies to like inner Earth. It's amazing. Like it's really I love the mysteries of this Earth. I could never stop talking about this stuff. It's really what keeps me going,
Yeah, that one in specific, do you think that's where Admiral Byrd went?
And yeah, possibly, but I feel like it's all over the place. It's probably like in every country, from here to China, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're linked up or something like that, I don't know, because the world was all connected at once, it seemed like. I know that's what Raynetta said. She said that she thinks like the world was all one big place at one point. I don't know.
Tell you what I know. This is what I know. What I know is from my sessions. And my first session, we went to Mount Shasta. She went through Mount Shasta, through the mountains, through the ground, and into the inner earth in Mount Shasta, where she met with the Arcturians. And there was like lakes and rivers and waterfalls and like all this beautiful big stuff down there. And you remember the movie, was it in Lord of the Rings, where they had that big tree and these big bulbs, like bubbled glow balls in the trees? Or was that Avatar? Which one was that?
I think that might have been Avatar, but I can't remember that well.
And they climb in it and they sleep in it. Well, that's what they had there. They had, the tree had like these big glowy bubbles, and they lived in it, and they drank the organic, ambrosia water. And but there was also positive reptilians down there.
Wow. So they are down there.
That's in Mount Shasta. They also told me there was tunnels connecting all underground, all over the world, all over the earth. Like there's just massive tunnels everywhere. And Gartha is separate from Mount Shasta, so it's totally different. And there's a whole nother thing going on. Gartha is one place I actually have not been yet, but I did ask about it. And there's a few key players that are down there that are like spokesmen for the people. There's somebody named, what's his name? I can't think of his name. I don't ever talk to him, so I don't know. Excuse me, but there's that. Also, we've been to Antarctica, and we went in the inner earth and underground tunnels in Antarctica, where the human military human experiment secret civilization is living, and they're giants. They're giant, like Igor looking type of beings. They got big fangs and like claws on their hands, and they wear their houses are like crystals, made out of crystals, mushroom like dome crystals houses or something. But we've also been past Antarctica, beyond the ice wall, where there's a little part, a little strip where the reptilians live. And then beyond there's another layer. So there's layers, there's like walls that separate. It's really crazy. And then underwater, there's bubble civilizations, tons and tons of bubble. And Don went to one. You saw one, Don, remember?
Well, yeah. And like, it's even like why the word firmament was taken out of all of the encyclopedias. Like, you can't get anything real about our atmosphere or anything unless you can find like something before 1918, which a lot of that's been destroyed because they changed the tables. They changed everything they used to have in the encyclopedia about what our atmosphere actually is. And it is a bubble. And beyond that is something else. Like, there absolutely is more to this planet than we've seen.
And it's dimensions. We're separated by dimensions.
Yeah.
So we're in the third dimension. Then you have the fourth dimension, which is all that spirit stuff, astral. And then you have fifth dimension, which is higher. The higher you get, the higher you can go, and others get left behind. As you keep going higher, they get left behind.
That's amazing.
The thing about being in the third dimension, though, is there's things that can slip from like 5 to 4. And those are the things that get in your head. They're like, you should kill yourself. That's not you. That's something.
That's not 5. That's lower.
Yeah.
That could also be like what
like
Penny says. That could be like the V2K. You know, like the government has like V2K where they can literally like put stuff in your head, and they do that. That's like the target individuals I have on my show. They all talk about V2K, that like it's really affecting people. You know, it's Susan Long said it sounded like a blonde-haired surfer guy from California putting thoughts into her head. I know it sounds funny, but like, like it's just very real. You know,
really?
When I was 14, I put a loaded 22 in my mouth because something. My mom was the school bus driver, and about halfway home, all I heard is, "You should kill yourself. You should kill yourself. You should kill yourself." I went home, took the rifle off the wall, put it in my mouth, and the neighbor girl, who was my best friend's little sister, walked in to borrow Micro Machines, the Nintendo video game. And that's what kicked me back out of it. I was about to kill myself, and it wasn't even me in control.
But see, like you didn't know, so like you obviously have a bigger purpose. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have a huge purpose. Like I think.
I think for sure, because like I said it to Spinja the one day, and I've talked about it on my show. I've had about 8 to 12 NDEs, and I explained them to her, and she's like sitting there just mortified. I'm like, what? That doesn't happen to everybody? You don't die like 10 times by the time you're 50? She's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, oh, like that's kind of been my cosmic battle, and I never put it together. Like I almost died in a motorcycle accident. I got electrocuted with 920 volts while standing in water. I drowned when I was 8 years old in my dad's boss's pool. Like just over and over and over again, it tried to take me, and it was just like, no, not yet, bitch. And I didn't even realize that wasn't normal until like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yo, you
Wow,
could write a book alone based off of that. The Man with 9 Lives.
Yeah, and then I told you about this, Maya. We almost all died when we drove into Alberta. It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're on this lone highway, dual highway, and I'm about to try and pass this truck on the left because he's kind of slowing down, and I speed up, and he starts cutting me off. I'm like, what the f is this guy's problem? All of a sudden, this deer explodes off the grill of his truck that would have killed us.
Oh my God.
Like he literally cut us off and saved our life because he saw the deer coming when we couldn't because we were behind his trailer. I was going to pass him, and he starts pushing me over, and then just boom, like deer guts everywhere. And we literally had like a near-death experience, and all of us start crying. I'm speeding up to catch up to the guy. And of course, the name on the side of the truck is Lightspeed. So I'm catching up to him. I'm like, you just saved our lives. Like I'm tearing up now thinking about it, because that man in a semi truck in the middle of the night drove in not even knowing that he was a hero. Like we should have all been dead that night.
Let me tell you, I manifested it. When I came to Vermont, I was like, oh man, I don't want to hit a deer. What if we hit a deer? I hope I don't hit a deer. I hit more deer in 5 years than most people have, and some people have never lived here 30 years, never hit a deer. So check this out. Snowstorm, blizzard. Me and my crazy friend are taking her kid 2 hours away to drop the kid off for the weekend so we can have fun during a blizzard. So there's not many people on the road, but we are. And we're already like an hour into it. Why does this deer come out of nowhere? Hits our car, hits the front of her car, hits the legs, the deer flies up in the air, comes down, smacks right on top of our windshield, tries to stand up, kicking its legs, tries to stand up. My life is flashing before me. And I was like praying it away. I realized we broke its legs when we hit it. It didn't have strength to push. So then she stopped the car, the deer went flying and just sat. We finished driving to drop off the kid, had to drive 2 hours back. We got home. Her cousin came home who works for a butcher shop. He said, hey, I got some fresh deer in the freezer. We just picked up a deer, broken legs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was our deer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi, girl.
So let me tell you, every time I drive, I always say, keep me safe and protected, keep my car safe and protected, get me there and back safely, keep me invisible to all cops, and keep everybody safe and protected around me, because you don't know what someone else is going to do will cause you an accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always do that. And I always say, keep the animals safe, protected around me. And I swear to you, every time I drive by, they stand there on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They wait. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Knock on wood, I have not hit a deer since I've been praying.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's like you say, like they say the state say like protected and shielded when we go out. I don't do that. I got to do that more. And I should probably do it before podcast because I probably bring a lot of stuff in from interviewing so many people. You know what I mean? Like I never
Yes,
really
sir.
think about it. Like it's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
When you did the interview with Laura Eisenhower, the whole point of me being on there with you was to put shield and protection.
yeah.
That was why I wanted to be there, because I knew there was going to be interference and I wanted to make sure the energy was clear. So that was the only way. I was like, yep, we're going to make sure this one gets heard.
Yeah.
you and I played around with the same concept with astral travel too. I think fairly close. And I know you've like been some places, and I even put a show on for you with me being able to show you bases and shit. Um, like, what is the process you're using to get to where you can astral?
I mean, I haven't had a conscious experience yet completely. You know what I mean? I'm trying. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm sure I'm having stuff in dream states that I don't know about.
Yeah.
That's why my pedometer went wacky and stuff. But like, I'm trying to have a full like on out of body experience where where I know what's happening and I can fly around and
Yeah.
and I'm using like Robert Monroe's Hemisync binaural beats, and I keep getting to like the body vibrational state where my whole body will start vibrating, and then I try to get out of body from that point, and it hasn't worked. But I mean, I think I'm getting close, and it's weird. It's like Marianne's practicing at the same time as me. We're trying to both get out of body and meet up. Like it's cool that she's into it as much as I am. She actually loves it. Like she looks forward to every night. She's like, "Are you gonna practice tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I will." And like it's like a thing we do every night. Like we literally try to go out of body every night, and I love that because like that's exactly what I'm about. Like I want to do stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So like to have someone that's like so into it is like really cool. You know what I mean? Like she's a good friend. Like I don't know. Like I don't yeah that's yeah I'm
You're
appreciative of
lucky,
that.
fortunate to have good people around you right now, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I sometimes I take it for granted because like I get so depressed. I don't know how to explain this. Like I get so depressed and triggered, and then I'm just like I try not to because I know everybody has the best intentions, so I want to have the best intentions too. But sometimes I feel like I have like I don't know what it is. Like it's like like I guess the world gets everybody down, so I got to just try to like let it roll off my shoulders, like Jay-Z says, dust your
Yeah.
shoulder off. Like I mean like because like it's like life's never as bad as we think it is. It's just the way we portray it, I guess, or the way and I guess they want us to feel that way. They want us to feel down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just to jump back to your meditation practice, something I found that really accelerated me being able to get there was Wim Hof breathing. And Clark Kegley has one that's DMT release specific. Do the 5 round ones. I found I had way more control because you can naturally secrete DMT through your brain, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
there's a breathing technique that I use right before guided meditation that every time I'm out,
Send it
right?
to me. Send me that link. What's the name of it for our listeners?
It's Clark Kegley's Wim Hof breathing for DMT release, and it's on YouTube. But
Ye-
don't do it if you have a heart condition or breathing problem. Obviously, it is intense breathing, it is training breathing, but you will get DMT release. I can say I've almost seen like the geometric shapes, like you were talking about, and discovered some crazy shit in deep meditation that I won't even go into on the show. But yeah, it's reality changing if you can get it to work right. It
There's
takes
there
a couple
was
of times.
there was another one I found. I used to try to do the DMT breathing, and there's another one you can use where you kind of like, you could look it up on the internet. You go like in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the mouth, out through the nose. You keep reversing your breathing pattern, and it does something. Like you go in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the nose, and then you keep like switching it up. Like you do, you do like and supposedly that like triggers like a DMT response too. Because I always wanted to experience DMT, so I was like always messing around with like those like DMT breathing methods. I think they work, for sure.
Oh, I absolutely know they do, because that's what triggered, like, when I went on your show with all that information, I was having dreams about it, but I'm like, no, I need to be able to go there and see this. And that's what I did, was like, once I got it figured out, I did that going into a guided meditation. I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what I wanted to see. And all of a sudden it was just like, I need to look at this on Google Earth. I need to look at this on Google Earth. And it's like, click, yep, click, yep. I just knew where everything was.
Wow. That's
Wow.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, I think we've been going about an hour now. So do you want to let everybody know where they can find you, all your links?
Yeah. It's just a Typical Skeptic Podcast everywhere. Subscribe on YouTube, and Rumble is better. I mean, like Rumble is, that's where I'd like to see everything go. And I'm also on Rockfin. I try to post to all of them, and I'm also on audio. I love when people listen on audio because it's better for me. But I mean, plus, like, I love audio. So, but subscribe on all platforms. And then if you want to support the podcast, there's always links in the description on how you can do that. And yeah. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
And you're one of the hardest working podcasters right now, it seems, because you're pumping out like 3 shows a day, is it?
Sometimes, like, I mean, I'm not as, I didn't do any today. I only did 1 today, but like some days, yeah, you're right. It is like,
Yeah. You need like the t-shirt, Mr. 3 a day.
I have like 27 shows I haven't put out yet.
Like, you can always post datum for like the future,
That's a good idea. I never thought about that, because if my
That's
computer
what I started
breaks, I
doing
would
for
lose
this
them.
show. I started post dating so people know ahead of time. Did you like that idea?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we're gonna stop this for our listeners. So, Don, DJ, DJ Pooh Bear, do you want to let people know where they can find your work and what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm still going with the Roundtable show. That's on Rumble under March 4th Productions, and it's on YouTube under Don Raj 78 or March 4th Productions. Either one of those will get you there. Or you can add me on Facebook as long as you're not crazy. And from sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Yes.
And also, Rob is gracious enough to be back dating and airing my episodes as well, so you can catch it on him. And that's my spiel.
Beautiful. And you guys are my cadets for the Cosmic Crusaders, which you could catch my stuff, which is always they can find your stuff with my stuff on your stuff.
Yes.
SOSQHT, where I have Cosmic Crusaders, and we are like the Star Trekkies. So the real life Star Trekkies.
Forgot one thing. I got to shout out Karen Holton, because tomorrow Spinja and I will be on her show, explaining my awakening and our journey here.
Oh, beautiful. Yay.
Karen's a really nice lady. I like her a lot.
Oh, I had her on the round table and she hooked us up. Like,
beautiful. Yeah, I did a session for who does Beth do Organites?
Who?
Beth Noise?
Yeah, I think she does. Yeah.
I did a session for her. We were supposed to do an equal trade, Beth, and you were supposed to make me one of them Organites, and you never did. You didn't follow through with your equal exchange. Just saying.
Karen will hook you up.
Oh, I'm gonna look at her shop. There's a few things I saw that I like. What's the name of her shop? Do you know off the top of your head?
Karen Holden, health coach, or here's the one she made me a long time ago. I still have it. It has like the flower of life symbol on there, and there's like I know it's hard to see because it's dark, but I mean,
What color is it?
It's
Purple?
it's black tourmaline with it says on the black, it says flower of life symbol, clear quartz, black tourmaline, and yeah. So wait, let me let's see if I can turn it, put it a little bit closer. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I keep it by my modem. I don't know if it's helping or what. You know,
Yeah.
they say it's supposed to block EMF, but I don't know. I spend enough, time in front of a computer.
Our older dog just resonates. We have that and the salt lamp next to each other. He sleeps at that particular corner facing it now. Like since I put it there when she sent it to us, he like will point his head that way.
Wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys just hang on tight for 1 second. We're going to say bye to our listeners. Catch me next week, same time, same place, 10 p.m. to midnight, Adult Swim Hour, where we go down the rabbit hole, the Mad Chatter Show, where we bring you spiritual, paranormal stories and interviews from amazing guests like Rob from the Typical Skeptic Podcast. And of course, my amazing co-host DJ. Thank you, DJ Pooh. You guys check us out. Peace and love. Till next time.